Now, look, I am an apologist for 343 in the sense of that they really do a good job stewarding their games. Regardless of if you've liked what they've produced, you really can't argue with the fact that they have really labored to take care of what they have produced. Well, today is February the 29th, 2020, and that means we have another Halo Master Chief Collection community blog update from our guy Postums and the rest of the publishing team and MCC live team. With the end of February, that also means it's the end of my birth month. I turned 29 this month, so I have 11 and a half months until I turn 30. I'm getting old. Oh no! No, actually, my 20s have been awesome, and I can't wait for what the next decade of life brings. So, with that said, I want to just take a few moments here to go through what we found out in the blog. There's some interesting pieces of information I want to talk about, share that with you, and hear what you think about it. Well, howdy, hey folks, welcome back to the channel. As you know, it's my desire to help bring you a little bit of joy with every piece of content that I create. I'm the Coltrane, and let's see what the team at 343 has for us in February's 2020 edition of the MCC Developing Blog Update. Alrighty, jumping right into the blog, Postum says here at the top that we have essentially 4 sections. We have a February flighting notes and news, we have a designs discussions, a comprehensive audio focused interview, and then some feature work. You can see all that right here. He then shows us a picture of the new title screen in MCC, which is kind of neat. It's one of the cryopods that the Master Chief and other UNSC personnel would stay in, so that's going to be kind of cool. It kind of keeps that metallic-y looking theme like the current Noble Team helmet collection does. It's the current main menu screen. So first and foremost, they drop down, they talk a little bit about the flighting. If you didn't know, it was Halo CEA's turn to be flighted. They flighted a couple campaign missions, they flighted multiplayer, and then they also flighted some things in Halo Reach that need to be fixed, and they show here that about partially halfway through the flight on the 20th, there was a update to the flight build, and it resolved a lot of issues. Now this total flight in February reached in its totality 150,000 insiders. So what that should tell you is that if you are not signed up for the insider flight program, get signed up, because they are inviting a ton of people. I have to imagine this is pretty close to who they have currently listed as insiders across Xbox and PC. So really, I would imagine you're not getting in because you haven't properly signed up. Because I mean, they invited 100,000 people, and then they invited another 50,000. I can't imagine there's millions of people who are signed up to do the flight. I mean, it's free to everybody, but I just don't think a lot of people have signed up. So if you want to be in future flights, get signed up. They talked about some resolved issues here. It's a pretty big list. You can look through them. One of the bigger ones that I saw is that the starting grenade issue in Halo CE was fixed, where sometimes when the multiplayer game started, players weren't spawned with starting grenades, so that kind of sucks, but that's been fixed, which is awesome. There was also some input to delay improvements, which is pretty great to see, and then there were some zoom issues with the sniper rifle that were also fixed, so that's really great. The next section, though, in this first part of the blog is my favorite, to gathering your thoughts. So here Postum shows us in graph form a percent of Halo insiders who agreed with these questions here, and nothing is below 85%, which is pretty spectacular. I will say what kind of surprised me was this third option. The developers are doing a good job of communication, sharing updates and notices, 89%. What more do you want from 343 is the question I have for you. Because across Twitter, these blog updates, they're so open with this game. I'm really perplexed why only 89% of flight participants who did this survey only agreed. I'm not saying there's not legitimate reason to disagree with it. I just really like to know what else more do you want them to do. It's pretty awesome that we get constant updates on Twitter from people like Postums. He engages with people with MCC related questions all the time. And then he produces these giant Word document blogs each month. So anyway, I'm not saying it's wrong. I just was like, Really? Like, what more do you want? But that's my thought. Let me know in the comments below how you think it could be done better if you're one of those people who disagree. Because again, it's not wrong. I'm just perplexed is all. But help me learn. Moving on to the design updates section, we have some really good notes here. So things I want to hit on. Halo MCC season update. So they say here that there's no current ETA for when the next season is going to start, but that it's not going to go live at the time of Halo Combat Anniversary's release. Now this makes sense simply because there's not a whole lot to unlock in Halo CEA, right? There was no armor customization in that game. There was no emblem customization on the Spartan character. They could do nameplates and that's about it. And that would not be great content for a whole season. So they're obviously going to give you way more time to get all the Reach stuff done, which that was pretty substantial, as well as they want to make sure that their seasonal changes really offer some great content when they come. And of course, he wants to remind everybody that there's no end to the ability to unlock content from previous seasons. So if you haven't been playing a lot and you haven't been able to unlock a lot of the current seasonal stuff, that's fine. That will get you can always have the opportunity to do that. There's a double XP event happening between February 28th to March 9th, so everything's increased on the double by medals and XP caps in general, so get in there and play some of that. They do point out here that all of the changes that are coming to MCC once Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary goes live, between the updates that CEA is getting and the updates that Halo Reach are going to get, that it's going to be up to 60 gigabytes. If you have all the games installed. I'm sure there's gonna be some other fixes that apply to the other titles as well. That's enormous. That is hard proof that they are fixing a lot of things in MCC and that they are really laboring to make this the best possible collection experience that they can. That's huge, so keep that in mind when you need to go download it. Next, we get a nice shot here at the work in progress of the Halo CE Anniversary customization menu. As you can see here, it's only colors. So again, going back to how would they add unlocks to Halo CEA specifically, well, they can't because there just nothing existed. I don't even know if it'd be possible to add things. I'm assuming it's not, otherwise we probably would have seen that happen, I would imagine. Also, they say here as well that the audio for Halo CE Classic Multiplayer is also returning. So that's going to be huge. A lot of people are excited about that when that launches. So look forward to that. I know a lot of people on Twitter were really happy about that, and Postums kind of speaks about that later on in the blog. After that, the next big piece of the blog, titled Adding All the Audio, is one giant interview with the Formosas group senior vice president. His name is Paul Lipson. He used to actually work with 343. He's done a lot of audio work on the various Halo games, as well as he's done a ton of work on a bunch of big name movies, as well as other big name video games like The Last of Us Part 2, which isn't even out yet, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, God of War. He was the senior audio director publishing at 343 Industries and the central media team with Xbox Game Studios. So he's been around Xbox and Halo a lot. And so it's just a really giant interview that talks about all the work they're doing to bring original audio sounds for Halo CEA multiplayer, as well as fixing a lot of the Halo Reach audio issues that the game has had since launch. Now look, I am an apologist for 343 in the sense of that they really do a good job stewarding their games. Regardless of if you've liked what they've produced, you really can't argue with the fact that they have really labored to take care of what they have produced. To me, that speaks volumes about the character of the studio and their desire to really have and maintain great products. So this whole article to me is just one giant argument for why 343 is a great company, why they are great for Halo, because so many developers could say, oh, you want the old sound for Halo CEA, Halo Combat Evolved, which is a 20-year-old game, you want the old sound for its multiplayer, go play the original Xbox version. So many developers would choose to say that because this is a ton of work to update. I don't mean to sound overly passionate about it, other than, like, I mean, look at this. This is incredible work. They have a whole other group, company, studio working to do this. I mean, they're showing pictures of recordings, they're showing pictures of actual tanks they use to record sounds, and this is for like newer games like Halo Wars 2 and Halo 2 Anniversary, they say, but the point is 343 didn't have to do this. they could just say, hey, you know what? It's too hard and complicated to fix the Halo Combat Evolved OG sounds to bring them into multiplayer. We just can't do it. Now for Halo Reach, you brought that game to MCC, so that should be done. That should be fixed. I'm definitely for that. But they could have easily just said, sorry, it's not worth the time and effort to do this for CEA. So I'm really, really glad that they didn't. So that's my rant and my tirade there. Finishing out the blog, we just see some feature work, which is kind of just a state of the game recap. We see the band hammer still swinging for AFK and macros, sword lining, firefight suicides, and then they still list the top community reported issues, what's being worked on, and then what is still in the backlog. What I love to see here, and the biggest things I think that are takeaway from this that I found personally most exciting were the fact that on the backlog we still have crossplay between Xbox and PC. And we see PC features like FOV sliders possibly coming to console. Those things are not going to happen anytime soon, but I think it's really great that they're still in the backlog, they're still on the radar, and 343 is having discussions about them to see what can be done. So that is February's MCC Developer Blog update. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. If you liked what you saw, if you didn't like what you saw, we'll dialogue about it there. Make sure to come like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.